How's everybody doing? Tinkering with Harleys. Well, I want to thank all of you who have subscribed. It's great. If you're watching these videos and you're liking them, by all means subscribe. And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. So today what we're going to be talking about is oil pressure relief valves in twin cams. And they are located in the cam plate. Right here. That is where the oil pressure relief valve sits. And this is, you can see it in there. I don't know if you can see it or not. You'll see it when I take it out. This is probably one of the most overlooked parts in the entire motorcycle. The way this thing operates is it kicks in when you're doing about 2,000 RPMs and your oil pressure builds up to 30, 35 pounds. And then it opens up and it lets the oil bypass so it maintains that 30 to 35 pounds. If you get a bunch of crud in there and crap, when it goes to close, it doesn't close all the way. So you're not going to maintain that 30 pounds or 35 pounds of oil pressure. It'll drop to like 25 or 20 or less. And it's common. Now, every Harley Davidson twin cam motor has one of these from 1999 to 2016. Every one of them has it. And every one of them has one of these pressure relief valves. Even the aftermarket ones like the S&S and the Fueling and the Harley Davidson Screaming Eagle, they all have this pressure relief valve. And like I said, it's probably the most overlooked part there is. They don't get checked. So if your oil pressure is running a little bit low, obviously you're going to take things apart and you're going to check your oil pump to make sure that's okay, but you need to be checking this. So I'm going to show you how to take this apart and check it. So let's get right to it. Now here's your cam plate. Now what you want to do to remove this, you want to get a 2x4, put a rag over it, because you're going to be knocking a roll pin out. Now right here is the roll pin, and behind that roll pin is a spring, and behind that spring is a plunger. Now what happens if you've had engine work or something like that, or it's high mileage, or you've even had an oil change and you've gotten some contaminants that have gotten into the oil. They have a tendency to collect right there at the plunger. And what it does is it holds the plunger open, and that won't allow you to build the proper oil pressure. So that's why this needs to be checked. And also the spring that holds this wears out. So this is all serviceable right here. So I'll show you how to take this out. First, you need a punch for the roll pin that's right there. And you want to put a rag underneath it so when the roll pin drops out, it lands on the rag and doesn't fly across the shop. Come on now. Now, before you get it all the way out, they make a tool for this. It holds the spring. I've never bothered with it. I've always used this. This is actually a plug from a shotgun, and I just cut it down the middle so it will compress the spring. Because if you knock this roll pin out of here with nothing, no tension on that spring, when that roll pin drops out, that spring is going to fly across the shop. So what you do is, and if you notice right here, I have it marked. And that tells me I'm in deep enough past the roll pin. So what we'll do is we'll insert it here. And you can see it's going in there. And now we'll take our punch and we'll finish this out. And the roll pin is right there. And by having that little retainer in there, it kept the spring from flying from the shop. Now that's the spring. Now inside here is a plunger. Now you can take a magnet and you can draw that out. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. There's a roll pin. So what you want to do is you get your magnet in there and get it on that plunger. And there is the plunger. And you can see there is debris on this. Let's get a good look at it. Now, I don't know how well you can see that. There's a little bit of debris down in there. Not a whole lot. But once you get debris in here on this, it's going to stay open and it will never allow you to build the oil pressure to where it should be. So, what you do is once you got this out, once you got the plunger out, you take and blow this out. I always take brake cleaner and I'll shoot it in there. Then I'll take air and I'll blow everything out till it comes out completely clean. I'll clean the plunger up like this, and after you get everything all cleaned up, take your plunger and drop it in there. And you want to make sure it slides back and forth freely. And this one doesn't seem to be running back and forth freely for some reason. It tells me there's probably something in there holding it. So we'll clean this out and then we'll do it again. Okay, now this is what was left out of the other video. Now this is all cleaned up now. Everything is clean. And in the other video, I put this in upside down. I put it in this way, like that, to rock it back and forth so you could see it when it came out. And you can hear it going back and forth. And that's what I left out. I didn't leave it out. I just had it in backwards. Now we're ready to reassemble this. Now when you reassemble this, you take this plunger and you drop it in there, this end inside here in the open end. There's a spring goes into the open end of the piston. So you drop it in there like that. And you put the spring down in it, and you can do it all at once if you want to, like that. And you drop it in there. Now, before we do that, let's get the roll pin started. Okay, you got the roll pin started, and you can see it's not obstructing down in that hole at all. That when you put the piston in there, it's not going to hold it. You drop the piston in like that, and then you take that and you take your nifty keen tool that you've made or you've bought, whichever it is, slide it in there to depress the spring. And that's it. So that's all there is to checking the oil pressure relief valve. And like I said, it's overlooked a lot. I've seen these, I've gotten them in here and gone to check them, and they are so full of crud, I actually can't get them out. And when they get like that, then you need a new cam plate that you can't do anything with it. Now, and one of the other things, they do sell a special tool for compressing that spring. And like I said, this is what I use. And this I made out of a plug out of a shotgun. And what's nice about it, it's long. And you actually need 3 hands to do this job, but when you take this and compress it, you can put it against your stomach. This is where having a big gut is, it helps a little bit because you can press it against your gut, hold it, and then you have your hands free to do what needs to be done. So it's one of the things that does need to be checked on occasion, especially if you're losing oil pressure. You're going to check your pump, like I said, but you need to check that also. And you'll find there is quite a bit of buildup. And that one there was some buildup in it. So not much, but there was a little bit. So again, this is just simple things that you can check yourself. They're easy to do. You don't have to worry about breaking anything. And make sure you have your service manual when you are doing your bike. It is a great reference, will help you tremendously. So that's pretty much going to do it for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. And until next time, everybody be safe out there.